This is a 32-year-old grandma car, so just keep that in mind. Every time I hit the throttle on this car, it gets better and better. What's up, guys? I'm Blow and you're watching Joe. Today, I'm weighing in on my opinion for the best performance upgrade that you could do to a 94 through 96 Buick Roadmaster or Chevy Caprice. And I'm dead serious, it costs about as much or cheaper than a standard brake job. So now, I was always taught when doing performance or racing applications, when you're building a car, you want to start from the back and go forward. So in my case, my car came with a 256 rear end, which is not posi. It's an open rear end, which means only one tire spins. That's not performance at all. That's like the opposite of performance. So one thing I knew I always wanted to do after, getting the engine right was start at the rear end. And I was actually lucky enough to find an almost complete rear end out of a 95 Impala. I had to go up to Chicago to get it, but again, if you're watching, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. That was a major score. So I brought it back, redid it, painted it, put new fluid in it, all that. It actually did come with the backing plates for the disc brakes, but I just kind of ran the drums on it for now. And so now, being an Impala SS rear end, it's a 308 gear, and it's got posi tracks, so that's much better. It's gonna give me more torque, and it's gonna actually spin both tires when you get onto it. But the thing is like, this is just kind of, a step one or a pre-step to the actual upgrade. And the actual upgrade, when you change any type of rear end or differential, you have to account also for, the computer is gonna be completely off because it's gonna think you're going a different speed than you are. So what do we do for that? There's only one thing that we can do, and that is to actually tune the PCM. Tuning the PCM ain't gonna just only change, the way the car sees how fast it's going and change, the speed and all of that, which it does really, really help. You can't just throw a different gear in it and not tune it for it. The computer's not gonna know what's going on. This actually kind of moves into the second thing, which is tuning your transmission without putting any hard parts in it. And also, just basically the way the car sends fuel, the way the car runs, everything. There's so much that you can do in tuning your PCM. So like back to transmission, you can change how firm the shift is. Now like these cars were made to take Nana home from, bingo hall. So, they didn't want to have, grandma breaking her neck every time it was shifted into second, Everything inside the PCM is tuned to actually allow the clutch plates to slip more, which makes a much smoother shift. But in racing and in going fast, and honestly just for the overall health of those plates within your transmission, you want them to be just as quick as possible. And that's your shift firmness. That's an upgrade right there for the transmission. Actually, let's go out and I'm gonna show you kind of how this thing moves compared to like what a normal one would do. And then you could kind of, hear it when it kind of barks second gear, or when it shifts gear, you'll hear a little bit of a chirp. And guys, please remember, this is a 32-year-old grandma car, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so here we're gonna do about 30 miles an hour, somewhere around 30 miles an hour. Got the B-roll camera up here, and then I'm just gonna hit it right after the B-roll. All right, so now we're doing more like 30, 35. Let's go ahead and let's do a pull from here, see what it does. Every time I hit the throttle on this car, it gets better and better. So now, again, for its age, that really ain't bad. As far as anything like done to the engine, I haven't done anything at all. I've descreened the math, which is something that you put down in the tune. Other than that, I've got different mufflers on it, the regular coolant bypass, stuff like that. I do have the home plate on it, but it's actually blocked off. Other than that, I have an airfoil in the throttle body, which is the standard 52mm throttle body. Literally, there is so much more potential that you can bring out of your car just by getting that old granny tune out of there and getting a better tune with better shift points, you know, more solid shifts. And you can also do things like kick up your rev limiter as well as the speed limiter or take it off. Everything kind of lies within the tune. It's really hard because for my particular year, it's a 94 and that's ODB1 and it's really, really hard to tune. But there are people out there that do it. Actually, where I got mine is I had mine done by Keith at PCMforLess. I've heard of him from, you know, past other people who have went to him, and I've always heard really good things, and he's definitely the man, especially as far as, well, I can only speak for the LT1s, but they pretty much tune a lot of different things. I actually have a Colorado, I'm thinking about sending one out, and we have a Camaro build that's coming up that I've talked about that we're also going to send out the PCM to him as well. I can absolutely tell you that Keith literally did like the Salt Bay on that tune, because I was really surprised. I didn't really think that it would be as good as it is, or as, you know, as fast as it is, especially off the line. You know, jumping from a 256 to a 308 is pretty significant, but it's not like, you know, it's 373 or a 411, which is, you know, a higher, every time you have a higher gear ratio, you always get more torque, but your pinion is smaller, so it's not as stout. But I digress. I cannot recommend Keith or PCMforLess enough. It's absolutely amazing. And so now, I know a lot of people probably have already commented, or you're going to comment, or you're at least thinking the best upgrade for a Gen II LT1 is always going to be a cam, especially with the B bodies. And also, I've had people be like, you know, you pulled the engine completely out, why didn't you cam it? You know, why? It makes no sense to a lot of people. And it's like, well, you know, first off, do you know how much a cam costs? Second off, you know, would I want to go further beyond that? Would I want to do full roller setup, you know, or would I just want to change the rockers? And then not only on top of that, you still have to tune it. So now, granted, everything being said, I really think that there's a lot more potential in the Roadmaster. I was kind of thinking about maybe doing 355 gears, beef up the transmission a little bit, maybe change the intake up a little bit, and do something like an LT4 hot cam. That's definitely something that I think is going to be coming up maybe in the future. My next plan is to hopefully get it painted soon. Maybe over the winter, I don't know, hopefully. For $215, you basically get your PCM reflashed and sent back to you. And then, like in my case, it was $350 for the rear differential. Now that's kind of good, but they are out there. You know, there are other things out there that you can actually look for, like a lot of Caprice rear ends, where, you know, of like 308 and higher, there's a lot of different ones. You know, you're going to have to do your homework on that, but there definitely are other options out there. And I think that even without the rear end, the best upgrade, honestly, that you can do for a lot of these cars is to tune the PCM.